Martin Scorsese is one of the movie world's really distinctive directors. His list of credits include Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, Mean Streets, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and The Last Waltz. His latest, to be released shortly, I'm guessing, The King of Comedy, stars Robert De Niro and Jerry Lewis. Would you please welcome Martin Scorsese? Certainly is a very impressive list of work that you've been responsible for.
Responsible, yes.
Well, I certainly meant that in a good way.
I know.
Oh, you must be quite proud of those.
No, yes, I am.
Yeah,
they are mine.
Oh, yeah, these are yours. Yeah.
I'm only kidding.
Since you live in New York City.
Yes.
And
yes, we're trying to.
Trying to? Any particular part that you live in?
Well, we moved downtown.
Mm-hmm. Downtown being?
What they call Tribeca area.
This means nothing to anyone watching outside of New York.
Well, it's sort of where the island, sort of where the island sort of comes to a tip and a point and the whole thing, and then it's where the Dutch was settling, and then the British bought it, and then whatever. Yeah. It goes on like that.
Yeah.
And it's really old New York. It's kind of nice. The building's kind of nice.
It's an old warehouse district?
Yeah.
And you work down there as well, huh?
Yeah.
Do you have your editing facilities or whatever?
Yes.
And
but basically, it's really it's really a workroom where we put a whole series. My God, we have collected over the years a number of posters, for example, film posters. Maybe 4,000 of them now. Cataloging them, archiving them, and we keep moving from place to place. So you see, these things have to be constantly worked on. Books of films, films of books, other scripts of. In other words, really trying to build a library.
How does it get to be that directing movies is more to you than just a job? I mean, did this start very early? Your interest in collecting and seeing a lot of movies, or did you come to it later?
Well, no, I practically spent most of my time in movie theaters.
Mm-hmm. How did that happen?
Well, I wasn't allowed to play any sports, so because of asthma, sort of thing. In the 40s.
How old were you then?
Oh, I was about 3 years old. Mm-hmm. Completely. That's all I can remember is movies.
So you instead every morning you get up and go to a theater and spend the day there?
Well, my father would take me, or somebody would take me. I forget whom.
Yeah.
But I would go and I'd see these things.
Yeah.
And color and the use of color and the black and white. And the westerns. I love the westerns. I was allergic to animals too, so I couldn't go near the horses. So.
What were you as a kid and even now? What were your favorite kind of films?
Well, I loved westerns.
Mm-hmm.
I love westerns. Now, and I love science fiction and horror. Horror films for me are the most fascinating. I just love them very much. Somebody once wrote, I think it was a British critic, that said if you don't really understand or appreciate the horror film, the horror genre, you really have no understanding or love of film itself. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's a very inside thing in the sense what's so important about really loving film itself. It really doesn't matter. You can live without film. But the idea is, in a sense, a horror film shouldn't be dispensed with as junk or trash. That's one of the things I'm talking about. Archiving, the idea of collecting articles and building a library on all this stuff.
Give us, in your estimation, the best horror film, because you're right. Most of them are lumped into the area of B or C films. What would be a really good horror film?
Oh, that's a hard one, because horror films naturally, for example, there are supernatural films about the supernatural ghost stories. One film called The Uninvited with Ray Milland and Gail Russell, directed by Lewis Allen. Stella by Starlight is the theme song of it. That's where it comes from, and it's a beautiful film, and still very chilling, very strange. And now, of course, we're going into different phases of horror films.
The electronic effects? No, you're right, yeah.
David Cronenberg's films. David Cronenberg is the director. His latest film is called Scanners. I like that very much, but his earlier films even better. A little hard to take. I can only see them once. If I can only see them once, but he's quite extraordinary,
Do you object to talking about your movies? And by that I mean the one that's yet to be released, but has already created a lot of interest and anticipation.
The King of Comedy?
Yeah.
No, we're going to talk about it a little bit. Because actually, the King of Comedy was in preparation while we were mixing Raging Bull. We were mixing Raging Bull. This is how it became a very difficult process, the mixing of the film. The sound was very complicated.
Yes.
We didn't realize. It became 16 weeks schedule, and my God, we were 1 week overdue in the theaters. And actually, your morning program used to keep us going. See? And there was really almost a mutiny from my people.
Yeah, we
And I said, we sent you something. You did get
very
it.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very nice of you.
We were very upset because we didn't know what to do.
Yeah, yeah,
There was nothing to do.
yeah. I had a year and a half of nothing to do.
Yes, but this was, it was gone, you see.
Yeah.
I mean, so we took, even if we took the TV back into the
Still
room
wouldn't
with
work.
us, it didn't work. It didn't work.
So then, in a certain regard, we're sort of responsible for the success of Raging Bull. Is
I
that
think so.
Is that the point of this?
Yes, eventually we finished the film. Eventually we finished it.
We have some. I guess we're going to look at some photographs of the principals of your new movie, The King of Comedy, and we're going to ask you to describe what we're seeing here.
Well, the fellow on the left is Jerry Lewis, and the fellow on the right is Bob De Niro, and they're in Sardi's. Now, the film is... It's, you don't really know the plot of the film?
Well, now they're in Lindy's.
It's the same still. It's the same still.
Two guys just go
what is
restaurant to restaurant. No,
It's the same
tell them what the plot is. Yeah, because
The plot is basically about a young guy who wants to be a comedian, a stand-up talk show host, comedian, whatever, and who idolizes the character that Jerry Lewis plays, called Jerry Langford, and becomes, in a sense, friendly with him, but more friendly than he realizes, in a sense. The Langford character is just being polite, and automatically he thinks he's made a great friend, and it's his opening into show business. This is the big time. This is it. And the series of normal rejections, which you say, thank you very much, call back next week, or the stuff material is not good enough, but keep working where you're playing, we'll go and see you. These are rejections which he takes quite seriously, and eventually winds up kidnapping him to get on a show.
Yeah, I have two questions about this. One, everybody, I guess, is asking you now about the casting of Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Himself being a director,
Yeah.
was it difficult to direct a director in a film?
No, you see, we had talked about with Jerry for about 2 years, actually, on and off. And in a sense, it was very helpful. Sometimes he would be able to help me when I was in certain situations. Body movement, well, the sun is coming up, and you had to rush and keep. And actually, he was quite good to work with.
Yeah.
Really.
What was it like, De Niro and Jerry Lewis?
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. See, the film is not really a comedy. It's in fact, it's humorous, but not really a comedy. But working together, the improvisations together were quite good. Bob and him.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Geez, I really appreciate you being here. And you mentioned that you're off to work now. You work
Yes,
at nights?
I work, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's a great pleasure for me to have you here, and I appreciate the favor. And the movie will be out.
Sometime. Christmas, I think. Christmas, yes.
Christmas. Well, that'll be
Yes.
terrific. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank
Martin
you very much.
Scorsese. We'll be right back with the world premiere of Nightcap Theater.